Hey guys, what's going on? I'm Will Patterson. I'm a logo designer, hand letterer, and I make these YouTube videos. Today, I'm going to be giving you the in-depth rundown of the 5 main elements of logo design. This video may seem simple to a lot of you guys, but I've learned a lot just by making this video for myself. It sort of helps me align my head again to what logo design is really all about. Number 1, the first key element of logo design is simplicity. Logo designs are made to be simple. It is the face of a company. If you are looking at getting a logo design created, chances are you're looking for a very simple sort of shape or diagram or something very obvious to the eye. Keeping your logo designs simple is a lot harder than it looks, and that's the reason why we do have logo designers. The Apple logo was created by designers because it's simple, it's just simple, and you can tell it's an apple. Another reason behind a simple logo design is because we need everyone from all age ranges, from old to young, to be able to identify with that company and literally be able to remember it. That brings us on to the second element of logo design, which is make it memorable. Logo designs have to be simple and they also have to be memorable. This really ties into the simplicity element of logo design, but making sure that your logo design is remembered by anyone who glances at it for a couple of seconds is of the utmost importance. Logos like the Nike swoosh, or like the Apple logo, or like the FedEx logo, things that are really simple like Target's logo, those things stay in the minds of the consumers or even just the people passing by. I'm always faced with the questions from you guys in the comments and on Instagram. You always ask, Will, how do you make a logo design memorable? How do you keep it, or how do you work out whether it is memorable if you're the one designing it? And a good way to do this is by testing people's reactions to the logo. A good test to do would be to show someone you don't know the logo design for 10 seconds on a sheet of paper, and when you've done that, ask them to draw out what they've seen. If the logo design is easily drawn out by the person who's just seen it, then you've done a really good job of making the logo design memorable. And even better, to test the proper memorability of the logo design, give someone the logo for a few minutes during their day and then ask them the next day to remember that logo and to draw out and see what they come up with. Sometimes it's really funny what they come up with, especially if it's a type logo, because it just doesn't look like anything. If you're working within logo types like words, then it's probably not the best thing to do. You can tell them to draw out the composition, but anything geometric or abstract is pretty alright to do. Again, you don't want to be forgetting that everyone has to be able to identify with this, not just your target audience. Sure, it is important for your target audience, but make sure that even the youngest people and the oldest people can remember it is really important and really good for your brand. The third most important element of logo design is making it timeless. I have thrown this idea about on the channel so much, and I think you guys have done a lot of research into it as well, but making sure that your logo design is timeless basically means that your logo design will look good now in the current state and also in 20 years time. Granted that this doesn't happen just by the designer, it actually happens with the brand and the company itself. We can actually do things as designers to make our logo timeless. Have you ever bought some clothing from somewhere that you've really liked and you fitted into it brilliantly, and then in a couple years later it didn't fit, or even worse, it went out of fashion? The same happens with so many logo designs nowadays, and I have made this mistake before. The best way to counter the disposable logo designs that we bring out today is by really doing your research into the company. And a question that I love to ask different companies is, what do you see your company being in the future in 10 years time? And then I design the logo with a lot of influence of what they think of the future. And this will sort of help them project their brand to the future and not just the current state it is in. And this in turn gives you sort of a blueprint of designing your logo for the future, so you don't need to worry about the timeless factor whilst designing it. The fourth most important element of logo design is making it versatile. Because we're creating the visual face of a company in a small shape, it needs to be able to work on loads of different platforms. This is why logo design isn't seen really as art, it's more seen as a problem-solving job. So many times when people are creating logos, they love the idea that they've got in front of them and they just get tunnel vision and they go with this idea because it just looks great. But something you may encounter with that logo design that you've just designed that you think is amazing is that it might not work on everything that the client wants to print it on or place it on. What we as designers have to keep in mind, even if we've got 20 or 30 years or just 1 year experience within logo design, is that the logo isn't just going to be a standalone idea. The logo is going to be put on hats, coats, t-shirts, websites, Twitter, Instagram, and it's all specifically designed for that one company. Something we need to, as designers, remember is to create the logo designs to what the client wants to place the logo on. If we don't do this, then they're not going to have the versatility of the logo, and they're not going to want to have that logo anymore. And the last main element of logo design is keep it appropriate. If someone in a law firm asks you for a logo and you make it look like it's a nursery logo, then there's a problem there. It's not very appropriate. So make sure and double check that everything that you're designing or creating with this logo design is appropriate to the company you're working with and the sector. You do this by looking at other logo designs that companies in that field of work have and sort of compare where you can go with that. Again, it's really obvious, but just double check when you're designing your logo. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this week's video. I'm glad you liked my last week's video about the logo design process for Voyage and Vanquish. If you want to go check that out, click up here. Let me know some of the topics that you want me to cover down in the comment section below. I'd love to do videos on them. I'm going to be making more of an effort or more intentional efforts to illustrate my points with you on these videos, so just let me know your thoughts. It's a real privilege and an honor to be able to share this with you guys. Thank you so much for watching guys, and I'll catch you on Friday for the new My Thoughts video, which you can vote on in the card section up here, so make sure you go vote. See you later.